his job.
Yeah, wow. So is that a good choice?
What was I think? Oh, yeah. This is a family business.
Mm-hmm.
It was started by my father when the orchards that were a huge part of this Santa Clara County, San Mateo, this whole valley went out. They became not profitable. So the farmers went from that to finding a different product. So when the orchards went out, my father planted a bunch of trees. He did the research and planted the trees onto the family farm. Mm-hmm. Took out the orchards, the fruit trees, and then eventually it all went into Christmas trees. At first it was almost a phenomena, because when they opened their gates and placed a small ad, there were lines all the way down Skyline, because that's where the first one was. It's not like that now anymore. There's tons of ranches up here. We're all family farms. Just trying to be of service. Everything okay? Okay. Good. Okie dokie. I'll see you later. And give a good product and enjoy nature in the season, to try to be as one with it as we can.
So how long does it take to grow a Christmas tree, or how long does it take for it to reach the height for sale?
It just depends to what kind of tree we're talking about. Monterey pines go faster. You're talking about the 4-year range. Mm-hmm. Scotch pine will take about 6 to 7. White firs can take up to 8. So it really depends on the type of tree. Survival rate from a seedling, if you're planting the first time, isn't bad, but when you're intermixing against tall trees, our survival rate goes down because of the competition of the root systems. If we do it by stump culture, it takes less time, and our survival rate typically is greater if people cut it properly.
How to cut it properly?
Well, we give them a saw as they come in the gate, mm-hmm. and the main thing is leave some extra branches on the stump after you cut it, so go up a little bit, about 2 rows of branches. Mm-hmm. And when you cut it, you don't fight it. It's not about strength. It's slow and easy. If you try to fight it, the saw will bend and give you nothing but problems. And the important thing is, when you do put it on your car, we do provide twine, and when you put it on your car, to put the stump towards the front of your car, so that when you're driving down the road, the branches are going with the wind and not against it. Because we see a lot of people have the tip of their tree at the front of the car, and they're not going to get a good product when they get home. They're not going to be happy. So we try to tell everybody to turn it around. There's some people that say they can find it in 5 minutes. There's some people that it'll take longer. It all depends what they're looking for. And some people just kind of drive through and never really look and say, we have nothing. Well, there's 50-some acres here, and sometimes the trees, the nicer trees, are out inside. Sometimes the nicer trees are right by their car. I hear a lot of people say, okay, we looked for 3 hours and it was sitting there right beside my car. It was the first one we saw. That happens a lot. But I think they just want the experience of the day of being out and playing and looking and seeing. And as people like stopping in the middle because they think that's more woodsy, going out and being adventurous. But since a lot of those get cut, usually at either the very beginning or at the very end is where the nicer trees are, because people just don't go there. So we try to push them in those 2 directions, trying to give them the best trees they can. The best thing I found is tell people, here's your saw, take a tour, then decide where to park. What feels like the right area for you, because you'll know. You'll know.
Do you have any tips for picking a tree, or it's just a matter of personal preference?
Well, definitely personal preference. You're coming out to a farm, so you already know it's farm fresh. Because a lot of things you hear is like, this test where you pull the needles and see if it's fresh. Besides that, what do you like? This is all personal preference. What makes you feel good? But the important thing is, once you get it home, you take that extra 1/2 inch off. You stick it in water. You don't put it in front of a window, even though we all love doing that to show off. But if it gets a lot of sun, it's not a good idea because it'll dry the tree. Don't put it in front of a heat furnace vent or something like that, or on one like I heard somebody do. It'll dry out fast. But if you take that 1/2 inch, check the water daily, it'll last for you. But there's a lot of advantages to a fresh tree, not only supporting local farmers and the environment, because there's now recycling everywhere. You know, at the end of the season, you put it on your curb, they take it, they turn it into mulch, so then it comes back to be sold to you. You can put in your gardens to help save water. Trees also clean the air, so keeping the local farms healthy is important. There's not as many of us as there used to be. And besides that, you're supporting local families, and we keep then the money in our area. Fake trees, they're an oil-based product. They're usually imported, and they fill up our landfill.
So how many trees are there in total on this farm? Do you have like a rough number of that? No. What is your favorite way to decorate a Christmas tree?
Basically, I got a lot of collectible ornaments, so usually some lights. And then we pull out all the collectibles that I've started saving since I was a little girl. Plus, I got some that were my parents. We had a lot of new ones with my children, and we're adding new ones with my grandchildren. We'll be getting a new one this year because I got an 8-month-old granddaughter, so there'll be some new stuff on the tree this year to celebrate her coming, just like we did with her brother. We have some that's been coming back 40, 50 years. They came as children, they brought their children, and they're bringing their grandchildren. There's some that are bringing their great-grandchildren. There's some that's saying they remember my sons growing up, and now they're seeing my grandchildren run around. We're better well known than I think, just because they see us running around up here, and they really do appreciate what we do. Some of them have a special checkbook just for bringing it up here, and you'll see some people will pull out of their glove compartment stacks of old receipts.
Wow.
I mean, back to the 60s, because I saw some prices like, man, people would love that. So we do get a lot of repeat customers, and they are family. Our customers are part of the family in a lot of ways, because without them, we're nothing. You know, they're the ones that really make the magic happen. I'm here off and on all year long, and the magic doesn't start till they start. Some people are coming up to get a tree. Some people are coming up just to share the experience with their family and friends, and they'll bring their neighbors. It's hard to say how many other people come. I mean, we've had parties up to 20, 30 cars, and maybe only 5 or 10 of them will get a tree, but that's okay. Origin? I believe the first Christmas tree was German tradition. They would cut it in the forest and bring it in, and there's some legend to it about luck or something, and it's really, really interesting. But a lot of the traditions that we do here in the United States has a German origin. Each country does it differently, and that's something also to be celebrated. And it's not just the countries, it's the different people, different families have different traditions, different ideas. And that's something also to we embrace. It's like I have one guy, she goes, I want a Christmas tree. My husband is Jewish and doesn't want a Christmas tree, but we do it for the kids because it's just nice to have something live and beautiful in our home that smells so fresh. They blended it all together, and that's really what this is about. Is family, tradition, and joy. I got one customer's coming that hasn't been here since the 70s. They came with their parents, and they are so thrilled to come back, and after all these years are coming this week to remember. That's what it's about. That's everything.